and welcome back to 50 Shades of Blonde. I'm Missy Day.
And Jill Branson.
And with us, we have one of the chefs of probably the hottest new restaurant right here in Las Vegas, the Stove LV, Antonio Nunez.
Hello.
Welcome to the show. It's good to have you.
Thank you.
Good. So we were there at the Stove probably a couple weeks ago, and we all loved it. Everybody loved what they had, and the whole space is just so cool. You have created something really spectacular again in town.
Well, we try. It's all about building stuff that the community understands and that makes you feel like you're at home. So much more than being out at another restaurant that is just over the top and light and loud and just in your face. We want to be subtle and get you started off into that day.
Right.
So it's nice and comfortable. Or you can just get loud and crazy and have some champagne and call it a day.
You're happy to please.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I first met you when you opened a restaurant across the street from where I live, Kitchen Table. And I remember when we went there, the thing that I loved about it is exactly what you said. It's the homey feel. It was the whole space, the big tables, and everything. And I love the, the expo table.
Yeah, the pass. So
That's awesome.
I think that as a chef, we were so prone to being behind closed doors for years, the screaming and getting crazy and, but we would also hide there. This was overcooked or this is not right. You can't hide now. Someone's glaring right at you like, my steak's overcooked. They're looking right at you there. So you have to face the firing squad. And I think that holds you to a higher expectation of yourself to make sure that things are in tune as they leave that window.
Right.
We all make mistakes and things are going to slide by us, but I think for the most part, even the guys know on the line that they try not to, as we call, hack any kind of food out. They make sure that everything's on point all the time.
So how did you come about, because you're partners with Scott Cummings, right, for the Stove. So how did you two get together and decide to open the Stove?
So Scott and I met through a mutual friend, Tyra Bell Holland, who owns Ava Roy's agency. She represented myself over at Kitchen Table, and then also represented Scott independently. And she brought him in for lunch, and then we got to talking, and we actually did like a cook fight, and we had some fun, and then we just kind of went from there. And when I left Kitchen Table, I used that money to open up and create what we have called ECM, which is Established Culinary Management, which is our consulting company. And that's kind of branded itself for what we do. So we've partnered up with some tops in the league right now, and it's been good. And
Awesome.
we came up with ideas. I have concepts for days, but we kind of sit there and we'll call it our think tank, so a bar. But we'll kind of hash stuff out and be like, oh, what about this? What about this? And all of a sudden, just you have this epiphany, like, this is what we're gonna do. The Stove actually originated. That was Kitchen Table's full concept. When I did that design, this is what I actually wanted, and then we just kind of intricately put some of our own touches to what we wanted to see of ourselves within that restaurant. So, and it became what it is. It's very Instagrammable.
Yeah, it sure is. It's very cool.
Instagrammable. I
Yeah.
like that.
There's like two, I would say probably two places that are awesome right now for Instagram. Yours, the Stove, and Cafe Lola.
Lola's.
Yeah.
She does a great job. She's a smart girl, and she put together the right mix to get what they have going. But when you walk in, it's the bright pinks and the light tones,
love
and
it.
everything is just there for them. We just found ourselves in San Diego this last week, and we were looking around for places to go, and we came across a place called Parakeet Cafe. Well, they had one thing that just kind of stood out, the neon light. So we went there and seen it, and like every picture you see from everyone in there is under that sign. So let's go check it out. It's about a 20 by 10 space, and it's just that one wall. But it was so popular because it was Instagrammable that people that just kept posting it and posting it and posting it. So that's what you need sometimes. You need that to kind of draw the attraction.
Right. So tell us about the brunch on the weekends. That's
Right.
wild and crazy. And how does one get in there?
My headache. it's well, we've learned over the years, even with Kitchen Table, you know, we had those hour and a half, 2 hour waits on the weekends, and this shows no sign of changing of what we've created there. It's learning from what we did there to here, and the best way to do it, especially if you live in the area, but go to our website, thestovelb.com, and then we have a thing called the wait list. Click on the wait list, and it tells you where our current wait list is at. If it's
Oh,
at 45
really?
minutes,
That's
2
awesome.
hours, 3 hours, but you can sign your name in there, and then what the hostesses will do, they will text you from there and get you
Cool.
to, they'll let you know that you have 10 minutes to come grab your table.
Oh,
Or it's
awesome.
going to the
before they
next
skip,
person.
yeah, before they
That's
skip it.
awesome.
So, especially people that live in the community,
Uh-huh.
they're sitting on the couch. They're like, oh, we got an hour wait. Cool. I have to get ready yet. And then all of a sudden they get that text like, we're out. They'll call us like, hey, we'll be there in 10 minutes.
Kind of like the ER.
Yeah.
So tell us about the tea room, the
Oh.
twisted tea room.
The infamous tea room. You know, I spent some time in London, and I think it's something that has been a dying fad for years. And I would like to see it transform into this culture of a new generation without being lost. I mean, we lose so much stuff, or we I guess bastardize certain things to make it fit our needs. So being over there, I got to experience some of the more modern lunches or teas, and it's more fun. It's lively. It's loud. It's a good time. I mean, it's not grotesquely loud, but it's got a good upbeat to it. And they're having the champagne. They're doing the tea. They're doing all this stuff, and they're having a good time. And I'm just like, this is what we need there. But then when you come back here and you see tea, everyone is like, oh, we're going to noon tea, and I'm like, oh, let's go. And you go, and I'm like, this is not what I wanted.
Yeah, boring.
I want to go to sleep. So we wanted that liveliness to it, and still respectable enough for people to come and have a good noon tea. And when people, and you'll see like the difference between the high tea and the noon tea. Like people just, they hear the phrase, but they don't really understand the difference
Right,
between the
what it
two.
is.
Like high tea is a 5 o'clock tea. That's when you're actually eating almost dinner style portions with your tea. That's what high tea is, and noon tea isn't. It's more of that refined afternoon, get you through to dinner. Have some small bites on your way home. Have the conversation and hanging out with, whether it's coworkers or meeting up with long friends or whatever it is. That was more of that feeling and touch. It's just now we do it with champagne and tea.
I think that's
I think
cool.
very, very good.
I think we're gonna have to go check out the tea room.
Yes, I believe so.
Well, the food. I mean, we still do the 3 tiers and the 2 tiers, and we give you the full experience, but it's not. Again, it's not like we started off with the crumpets, and we've gotten away from that now, and we've gotten to where we want to be with the pedophores and smaller sweet bites. But then you have this little small tray, but you can still order off the full menu. So that allows you to, again, sample the full brunch and hang out and still do your thing and still have your tea and, have the girls' days, and we supply hats. So that's another
you
thing.
do?
Yeah, we have a
Really?
wide range of wide array of vintage hats we buy from these ladies, and I forget their name right now. But they're vintage hats. Their tags are on all of our hats. They're great, and so we have some really cool stuff that you can actually just come down, and you don't even need to bring the stuff with you. We'll supply it to you.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Very cool. So, what would you say is your most popular thing on your menu?
Right now, I'd have to say it's a toss-up between the empanadas and the Krabby Patty. So the Krabby Patty is a different play. Like everyone, again, we come from a different line of restaurants, so I only know how to use certain ingredients, and I'm not big on like using lump crab meat and things like that. We've moved away from that. We use Alaskan king crab, so that's always a big plus when you get crab.
Right.
And then we're oddballs too, so nothing's traditional. So we throw it on the top of this Benedict, but we do it with an artichoke and spinach cream, like you'd almost like a dip that you put on top of the English muffin. So you get this, like, you get the saltiness from the crab, and you get the creaminess from the eggs, and you get that like explosive like cream and vinegar from the artichokes that are marinated. So you just get a little bit of all this in your mouth, and it's like, this is good. And it's actually something I made for James Tormé, Mel Tormé's son, because he did me a huge favor with one of the events we do last Friday. He came out and he's like, I'll come out and I'll sing, but you have to make me breakfast. Done. And then I called him up a year later and I'm like, do you remember what you had last year? And he was like, oh my God, yes, it was this, 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 and this. And I'm like,
Wow.
we're putting it on the menu. Because if it's that memorable a year later.
Yeah,
Right.
really.
So that's kind of what we try to create food that you crave, not you can
Right.
get anywhere else.
There's two ladies in the green room that's back there that got the empanadas, and when they got them first, and we're all like staring at them, saying, "Can we try that?"
Empanadas are great. We did some stuff like that. So Mercadito, when we opened up Mercadito out here, they have one that's really similar. It's almost identical to the one we did at Kitchen Table, and that's kind of where we've dragged that concept from. And it's now that since we've done this one, or I've moved to here, I went completely bonkers with it. So now we do a chipotle braised short rib in it, and then we throw the Oaxaca cheese, and then you get a little bit of poblano and a little bit of black bean that's kind of all mixed in there, and it's just meaty and good, and it's everything that you want it to be.
Yummy.
Yeah, I think we know what we're going to be doing here pretty soon.
Yeah.
A little trip to the
So what's your next adventure? Do you have something coming up past this one?
Well, we have about 7 concepts that we are tossing around right now. One in particular that I'm very passionate about right now. You know, we're chefs, so we change our mind daily, but it is something that we're definitely looking at. But I can't release it just yet.
Oh, darn.
We
You
have to sign
heard
some
it.
papers.
Teaser here first, folks. So, so are you gonna let us know when that happens?
Yeah, for sure. Well, we have to if we want to have business there.
Yeah. We'll tell everybody what you're doing. Well, I love Kitchen Table, and I love the stove now because I like different quirky places. You know what I mean? I think everybody in the world gets tired of going to chains.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I mean, unfortunately, that's the world that it's become, because you know someone's going to find a great concept and they want to mirror it to make
Right.
as much money off it as possible, which is great. You know, you want to be able to make money off it, but at the end of the day, it's hard to stamp personality. It's hard to stamp a vibe. It's hard to do these things, and I've learned it with some of the venues I've opened up. You know, we did one out of New York, and I won't say the name, but you walked in, you felt it. Like, you just felt part of it. And you know, whether it was this band playing or this person was there, it was just, you always felt part of it. And then we went to London and opened up there, and I'm like, this is not the same. And then we came here and opened up, and I was just like, this is even worse, because they go bigger and they take away from what it is. And that's not our idea. This restaurant's way bigger than what we wanted, but at the same time, it allowed us to have the community room for coffee that's free to the public. We had the main dining room, and then it gave us the coffee bar as well as the tea room. So it gave us all our concepts all in one.
Right.
And then we were able to throw in a selfie room too.
And everything is fresh.
Yes.
I just
Yeah,
love
it's so
that.
good.
I mean, it's like real food.
Yeah, no, I mean, even our beef, it comes from a small rancher up north. He does a great job. It's called Bentley Ranch. He's just south of Reno, Nevada, in Minden, Nevada. He's a 1,500 cattle hand, and he just, anything we need. The sausage is done to what we need. The hamburgers, I'm like, I need 5% more fat in that hamburger this month or this week, and that's how it comes. He grinds everything to our specs, does everything that we need, so it's built for us, and we know how it's raised, we know how it's processed, we know how it's delivered, so we know everything about the beef from start to finish, which is great. Gives us peace of mind as chefs. Just like our greens that we have on the walls, it's we know what's going into it, and we know what's coming out of it.
Right.
So and it allows you guys to have a little bit more comfortability in what you're eating. So you don't know if it's coming off of some back alley place
Right.
out in some
You're
third
sitting there
world
looking at
country.
me saying, "Is this meat?
Is this really meat? That's right.
Well, the BRG, that's what it's
The
called,
burger,
right?
yeah.
Oh, me.
Yeah. And I am a burger fan all the way.
Yeah,
I love
that was
burgers.
very yummy. Well, I thank you for taking the time to come out and be with
Yes,
us and
thank
talk about the
you.
stove. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Are we gonna go ride some cars now?
Hmm We're going to go go-kart racing.
Yeah.
Then we're going to dinner. So thank you for stopping by, and
Yes.
tell us where you're located.
We're located at 11261 Eastern Avenue, Suite 200. We're on the second floor. You will not see a sign because we don't have these big flashy signs. We're a neighborhood restaurant, so we want you to know where we are. When you pull in, just go straight upstairs, and you'll find it, or you'll find a lot of noisy people.
Yes. And it's worth the wait if you have to
Oh,
wait.
so
it's
worth
totally
it.
worth it. So thank you. That wraps up another month for 50 Shades of Blonde, and we'll see you next month.